Mike Braun wants the Bears. And according to developments this morning, the state of Indiana is closer to getting the Bears. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in real time. The Bears have released a statement, and it is this. Ian Rappaport just posted this, and it has been sent out to Bears media. The passage of State Bill 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. We appreciate the leadership shown by Governor Braun, Speaker Houston, Senator Mishler, and members of the Indiana General Assembly in establishing this critical framework and path forward to deliver a premier venue for all of Chicagoland and a destination for Bears fans and visitors from across the globe. We value our partnership and look forward to continuing to build our working relationship together. That is a statement from the Chicago Bears released this morning, and that looks like they are setting their sights on Wolf Lake, the site in Hammond. That is right across the state line, closer to Soldier Field than Arlington Heights. That's not insignificant, but it is across the state lines. They would not be the pride and joy of Illinois. They would be Indiana's Chicago Bears. And this is also Mike Braun, the governor of Indiana. He tweets out earlier this morning, within the past hour, Indiana is open for business, and our pro-growth environment continues to attract major opportunities like this partnership with the Chicago Bears. We've identified a promising site near Wolf Lake and Hammond and established a broad framework for negotiating a final deal. That is from the governor of the state of Indiana. If approved, he continues, a proposed amendment to Senate Bill 27 puts forward the essential framework to complete this agreement, contingent upon the site due diligence proceeding smoothly. The state of Indiana moves at the speed of business, and we've demonstrated that through our quick coordination between state agencies, local government, and the legislature to set the stage for a huge win for all Hoosiers. We have built a strong relationship with the Bears organization that will serve as a foundation for a public-private partnership leading to the construction of a world-class stadium and a win for taxpayers. Mike Braun, 30 minutes ago, tweeted that out. The governor of the state, the Chicago Bears, they're in lockstep, it seems, and this development was unexpected. We heard from Governor Pritzker on Wednesday about progress being made toward an agreement, tax certainty in Arlington Heights. This isn't final, but it certainly is ominous if you are somebody who wanted the Bears to stay in the state of Illinois. It does not appear to be that is the direction they're headed.
Forgive me for asking this question. How real is this still? And I think I'm not alone in asking. Obviously, seems like it's a big step forward, but could Illinois still swoop in? Is this still potentially leverage?
I think you could say that, Ruthie, and I don't think that's necessarily overly cynical. It's probably from a position of experience. You definitely understand that until there is a shovel in the ground or until there is a stadium, anything signed and the project begins, that there's that element of it. But anybody who thought that this was a bluff,
it definitely wasn't a bluff.
This was no bluff.
And kudos to Indiana for moving quickly and getting it done. I mean, and at least making progress. I guess I feel maybe after sitting with that for a moment, you wonder if the cancellation of the meeting in Springfield today makes you feel like the move toward Indiana is more real.
Well, let me tell you this, what I've been able to, we've been going pretty fast here this morning. So we're getting information coming in dribs and drabs. And I think when you look at everything collectively, it is significant. And this is a big day in this process. And Indiana is celebrating. Illinois lawmakers are not. And talking to some people who have a familiarity with the process and the way things went down in Springfield, let's just say that there are some people caught off guard. And there's some people involved in this that were expected this morning to go to work and for there to be a committee meeting on House Bill 2789. which would have been the House Revenue and Finance Committee, and it would have been a hearing on the mega project bill. That was canceled. That was canceled around 6:30, maybe earlier, but according to reports, first ABC 7, WBBM, Crane Chicago Business, all of them followed suit. They canceled it this morning, let's just say before breakfast. And meanwhile, in Indiana, State Bill 27, the Bear Stadium Framework Bill, the only item on the House Ways and Means agenda today, the House Ways and Means Committee agenda, they proceeded. They had a deadline of today, and there was the understanding that this would not have happened, and they would not have proceeded without the commitment from the Chicago Bears. And we see now, statement from Governor Mike Braun, statement from the Chicago Bears, waiting to hear. Now, you're looking at this as a news story. I want to know what the state of Illinois has to say. Governor Pritzker, yesterday was quoted. We heard that. There was progress being made. He did not seem that concerned. He seemed more confident than concerned. But I can tell you, in dealing with some information from people sharing their reaction to this, involved in the process, they had meetings yesterday. They were hammering out details last night. The Bears with legislators involved in this process. So this was going on. Where's Kevin Warren? I believe he began the week in Italy at the Olympics watching his great niece, Sarah, speed skater. I'm sure that he had to be involved in this, but there was a belief among people involved when they were working last night that this was going to be something they could figure out and hammer out with the agreement in Arlington Heights. And here we are reading statements about changing directions and heading to Hammond. So Hammond, Indiana right now is the designated site. Portage made the pitch last week. It was professional. It was impressive. But it was for naught, because if the Bears do move to Hammond or do move to Indiana, it will be Hammond, the site right there across the state line, right off the Skyway. The Skyway Bears.
It's interesting because you think about all of the things that the Bears have wanted when they decided that they were going to build their own stadium. They want to hold world-class major events, Final Fours, Super Bowls, concerts. Are you going to say that you're going to Indiana for the Super Bowl? Or do you say we're hosting the Super Bowl in Chicago?
Ruthie, it's a fair question, but I think you say it with
and I know it's silly, but
and I'm not saying you're saying it with any sort of tone, but I do think the implication is like, why would you do that? Why would you go there? If they're going to build a stadium in Hammond, Indiana, at this site that is proposed and now they have agreed upon, it's because they see the opportunity for
all of
just
those things.
that. All of the things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that there would be this kind of excitement or this kind of momentum toward a stadium at that site unless there were plans to take advantage in every way possible. The state of Indiana is doing what the state of Kansas did to the Kansas City Chiefs. It bears repeating every time you hear this. Like, why is this going on? What are they doing? I thought they wanted to own their own stadium and print the money. Well, in Indiana, because of the issues here, they swooped in and apparently are offering a rent-to-own option and give the Bears, you know what tax certainty is? No taxes. When you rent, you don't have to worry about that. But the point about other events, it's well taken. And until we hear more, I think it's open for debate. I don't know the answer to it. I just think that if they're going to move this far, this fast, they would have to have those questions answered by somebody.
I will say this. Hallis Hall in Lake Forest. Many of the players, coaches, front office people, business people, they all live up there. Mm-hmm. That's a long drive on game day. Obviously, it would be the night before the game, probably. They got to get a team hotel ready to go somewhere around there. And, of course, we're talking years down the road, and all these things will get hammered out, I'm sure. But that's far from Hallis Hall.
It is a long way from Lake Forest.
And I get it. It's one night. It's one day. But it's a long drive home.
It's 10 days a year. You got probably 8 regular season games, maybe 9, a couple preseason games. once they go to 18 game schedules, you don't know what that'll mean. It probably, you're talking about 9 or 10 Sundays, Thursday nights, Monday nights, whatever. Playoff games. Mm-hmm. Maybe a Super Bowl. Maybe a Super Bowl.
Think about, this is probably silly, but I'm just thinking about if you play on Thursday night football, you're driving to Hammond the night before the game if you're a player or a coach, and it's rush hour. And you got to get from Lake Forest to Hammond.
I made that trip. It's not easy.
I'm well versed on the hours that are put in during the week for the coaching staff in particular. And that 2 hours in a car for a coach is valuable time. And I don't think many of them will be thrilled about that. Ben Johnson included.
Some of the specifics coming in and getting some texts from some people who are involved with either the reporting or the actual process. But the suggestion is that in Indiana, according to what was discussed this morning in the State House during their meeting, the Bears will commit as much as $2 billion to the stadium project. So that is a number that is huge, but also probably not as much as might cost them in Arlington Heights. Need some more details, but that seems to be the implication, and that would be something that you look at. $2 billion is not a small sum. Mm-hmm. So we have some audio from the Indiana speaker, the House Speaker, reading the statement. Todd Huston read this morning down in Indianapolis. This is what he said.
The passage of Senate Bill 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. We appreciate the leadership shown by Governor Braun, Speaker Houston, Senator Mishler, and members of the Indiana General Assembly in establishing this critical framework and path forward to deliver a premier venue for all Chicagoland and a destination for Bears fans and visitors from across the globe. We value our partnership and look forward to continuing to build our working relationship together.
That's the Speaker of the Indiana House of Representatives, Todd Huston, representing Hamilton County. And now all of the focus shifts from Arlington Heights to Hammond.
Just like that. As
the Bears change the focus on the stadium project, as George McCaskey ponders his legacy, and as Bears fans start to consider the unusual reality that they will be having to cross state lines to see their team play. How significant is it? What do you think? 312-644-6767. We're locating some people involved in the process, try to get them on. We're going to still talk to Jarrett Payton, who might have some very strong thoughts about this at the top of the hour. We've got a lot going on. The Bears identify Hammond, Indiana as the focus of their stadium project. The Northwest Indiana Bears, the Northwest Indiana Chicago Bears. Sounds a little unusual. It will take some getting used to, but it does appear to be the direction they could be heading.